Listen carefully. If you ever park alone in a nearly empty garage late at night, and you notice the same person appearing on multiple floors, leave immediately. Don't convince yourself you're overthinking. Don't stop to check your phone. And if the footsteps behind you suddenly stop the exact moment you stop walking, don't turn around. Because some people don't follow you to rob you. Some people follow you to see if you notice them first. My name is Ava Collins, and this happened in downtown Seattle during the winter of 2023. I still avoid parking garages now, especially underground ones, especially after midnight. At the time, I worked late shifts managing inventory for a small fashion warehouse near the waterfront. Nothing exciting. Most nights, I left work around 11:30 p.m., usually exhausted, usually alone. And that Friday night started completely normal. Cold rain outside, half-empty streets, the kind of weather that makes the entire city feel abandoned. I remember being irritated more than anything. My shift ran late. My phone battery was almost dead. And I had parked on level 6 of a public garage nearly 3 blocks away because every closer lot was full earlier that evening. By the time I reached the garage entrance, it was already past midnight. That's when I noticed the first strange thing. The parking garage was almost completely empty. Not unusual by itself, but every level above the entrance was dark. Only emergency lights remained on. Long strips of dim yellow lighting stretching across concrete floors. Everything else, shadow. The ticket machine near the gate kept making this soft clicking noise. Click, 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 like it was broken. And for some reason, that sound immediately made me uneasy. I stepped inside anyway. The smell hit me first. Wet concrete, gasoline, cold air, and underneath all of it, something metallic, almost like rust. My footsteps echoed loudly as I headed toward the elevator. That's when I saw him for the first time. A man standing near the far corner of the garage. Tall, dark hoodie, hands in pockets. Completely motionless beside a concrete pillar. I slowed down immediately. At first I assumed he was waiting for someone. But something felt off. Because he wasn't looking at his phone. Wasn't smoking. Wasn't moving at all. Just standing there facing in my direction. Watching. I quickly looked away and pressed the elevator button. Nothing happened. Dead. Great. I sighed and looked toward the stairwell instead. 6 floors. Not ideal, but manageable. As I started toward the stairs, I glanced back once. The man was still there, exactly same position. Didn't move an inch. That's when my instincts first started warning me something wasn't right. The stairwell door slammed loudly behind me as I entered. Concrete walls, flickering fluorescent lights. Everything echoing too much. I started climbing quickly. 2nd floor, 3rd floor. By the 4th, I noticed another strange thing. The building was completely silent. No car engines. No distant traffic. Nothing. Then I heard it. A door opening below me. Slow metal creak echoing upward through the stairwell. I stopped walking. And a few seconds later, footsteps. Heavy footsteps climbing the stairs below me. Slow. Steady, not rushing, just following. My chest tightened immediately. I looked down through the center opening between floors and saw him. Same dark hoodie, same slow pace, climbing upward after me. I started moving faster instantly. So did he? Not running, but matching my speed perfectly. That's when real panic started creeping in. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe he parked upstairs too. That's what I kept telling myself. Then I tested it. On the 5th floor landing, I suddenly stopped walking. The footsteps below me stopped immediately, too. Every hair on my arm stood up. I slowly backed toward the wall, listening. Nothing. Then, one single step. Closer. My breathing became shallow. I turned and rushed up the final staircase toward level 6. The moment I burst through the stairwell door, freezing wind hit my face. Most of the level lights were dead. Only a few dim bulbs remained near the ceiling. Cars had scattered far apart across the massive concrete floor. Shadows everywhere. And my car was parked near the far end. Of course it was. I immediately looked back toward the stairwell door. Silence. No footsteps now. No movement. Maybe he stayed downstairs. Maybe I was panicking over nothing. I started walking quickly toward my car. Try not to look around too much. That's when I heard something behind me. A car alarm chirp. Short, sharp. I turned instinctively. One row over. Headlights flashed briefly. A black SUV. And standing beside it was a man in the hoodie. My stomach dropped instantly. There was no possible way he reached level 6 that fast. Not unless I looked toward the stairwell. The door hadn't opened. I know it hadn't. The man slowly tilted his head toward me, still too dark to see his face. Then he raised one hand slightly, not waving, pointing, directly behind me. Cold rushed through my chest. I turned around instantly and froze, because someone else was standing beside my car. Tall figure, completely motionless. I couldn't breathe for a second. Then the parking garage lights flickered hard, and both figures disappeared into darkness for half a second. When the lights stabilized again, the person beside my car was gone, but the man near the SUV was suddenly much closer now, at least 20 feet closer. Without me hearing a single footstep, I backed away slowly, heart pounding violently. "What do you want?" No answer. The man kept walking toward me, slow, uneven steps echoing across the garage. Then suddenly, my phone buzzed, almost dead battery. Unknown number. I answered immediately. "Hello?" Static crackled softly through the speaker. Then a terrified female voice whispered, "Don't let him reach the shadows." My blood turned ice cold. "What? Who is this?" The woman sounded like she was crying. "He's not alone." The call cut out. Dead silence returned instantly. Then, every light on level 6 shut off at once. Darkness swallowed the entire parking level instantly. Not normal darkness either. The kind where your eyes can't adjust no matter how hard you try. I froze beside a concrete pillar, heart hammering. Somewhere nearby, I heard footsteps. Slow, dragging slightly now, much closer than before. My phone flashlight flickered weakly as I turned it on. The beam barely reached a few feet ahead. Concrete columns stretched endlessly through shadows. Rows of parked cars looked distorted in the dim light, and the man in the hoodie was gone. Then I heard breathing, right beside me. I spun around immediately. Nothing there. But my car alarm suddenly started blaring across the garage. Loud, violent, echoing through the darkness. Its headlights flashed repeatedly between the concrete pillars. And during each flash, I saw movement. Not one person, multiple figures, standing between the parked cars, motionless, watching me. My chest tightened hard. No! Another flash. Now they were closer. Different heights, different shapes. But every single one stood completely still. The only movement came from their heads, slowly turning toward me together. Then all the car alarms in the garage started going off at once. Every level, every direction. An explosion of noise echoing through the structure. I covered my ears instinctively, and through all that chaos, I heard running footsteps, fast, coming straight toward me. I took off immediately, sprinting between parked cars, my shoes slipping slightly on wet concrete. The flashing headlights made everything feel disorienting, like the garage itself kept changing shape around me. Then suddenly, someone grabbed my arm. I screamed and jerked backward hard. A woman stood beside a silver sedan, mid-30s maybe, dark jacket, terrified expression. "Keep moving," she hissed. Before I could speak, the lights flashed again, and I saw the hooded man standing at the far end of the aisle, much closer now, still walking slowly toward us. The woman pulled me behind the car. "Don't let him corner you." "What is happening?" I whispered. Her breathing shook badly. "I don't know exactly." She glanced toward the hooded figure. "But people disappear here." Cold rushed through my body. "What?" She swallowed hard. "I work night security 2 blocks away." Another flash of headlights. The hooded man stopped walking, just staring at us now. "There have been reports for months," she continued quietly. "People hearing footsteps, strange phone calls, cars found abandoned." My stomach twisted. "Why call me?" Her expression changed instantly. "I didn't." My blood went ice cold. "What?" The woman looked genuinely confused. "I never called you." The garage lights flickered weakly overhead. Then all the alarms stopped together. Instant silence. And that silence somehow felt even worse. The woman slowly looked around. "Run to the elevators," she whispered. "What about you?" "I'll distract him." "No!" Then we both heard it. Laughter. Soft, broken laughter echoing somewhere above us. Not human laughter. Something imitating it badly. We slowly looked upward together and froze. Figures stood along the upper railings of the parking garage. Dozens of them, perfectly still, watching us from every level. My legs nearly gave out. The woman whispered. They weren't there before. Then suddenly, every figure tilted their heads at the exact same angle, and all the emergency lights turned red. The hooded man started moving again, faster this time, not walking anymore, jerking forward unnaturally between cars. The woman shoved me hard. "Go!" I ran, straight toward the elevator lobby, hearing footsteps exploding behind me now. Not one set, many. I didn't look back. I couldn't. My flashlight beam shook wildly as I sprinted through rows of parked vehicles. Then suddenly, I heard my own voice behind me. "Ava," perfectly copied. Exactly my voice. I almost stopped running, then remembered the woman's warning. Don't let him corner you. The elevator lobby finally appeared ahead. Bright emergency light glowing above the doors. I slammed the button repeatedly. Nothing. The digital floor indicator stayed dead. Then the stairwell door beside me creaked open slowly by itself. Darkness inside. And from somewhere deep below, I heard footsteps climbing upward. Heavy, slow, crunch, step, crunch, step. The same footsteps from earlier. Only now, there were multiple sets. My breathing became uneven. Then the woman suddenly ran into the lobby behind me. Blood running down one side of her forehead. "They're coming!" The elevator dinged loudly. Both of us jumped. The door slid open. Empty inside. Bright fluorescent lighting. For 1 second, it felt safe. We rushed inside immediately. The woman hammered the G button repeatedly. The door started closing, then stopped suddenly. Something blocked them. A hand. Long, pale fingers gripping the elevator door from outside. The woman screamed. And slowly, the hooded man leaned his face into the opening. I finally saw him clearly. Or at least, I wish I hadn't. His face looked incomplete, like several different faces pressed together wrong. Eyes slightly uneven, skin stretched unnaturally tight, and his smile moved too slowly. He looked directly at me. Then using my own voice again, he whispered, "You noticed us." The lights inside the elevator exploded. Darkness. The doors suddenly slammed shut completely, and the elevator dropped. Fast. Way too fast. The woman collapsed screaming as we fell. The emergency lights flickered violently overhead. Floor numbers flashed downward impossibly fast. 5, 3, 0, -2, -5, -9. My stomach dropped. Parking garages don't have 9 basement levels. The elevator kept ascending, metal groaning loudly around us. Then finally, it stopped. Complete silence. The door slowly opened, and my entire body went cold. Because outside the elevator wasn't a parking garage anymore. It looked like an older version of it. Decades older. Rust-covered concrete. Broken fluorescent lights flickering weakly overhead. Abandoned cars covered in dust. And people standing everywhere. Motionless figures scattered across the garage level. Some beside cars. Some staring at pillars. Some facing walls. None of them moving. The woman beside me whispered, "Oh my God!" Then every figure slowly turned toward us together. Their faces looked wrong, blurred somehow, like unfinished people. The hooded man's voice echoed through the darkness. "This is where they stay." The elevator doors suddenly tried closing again. The woman grabbed my arm. "Run!" We sprinted out just before the doors slammed shut behind us. The figures started moving immediately, not walking, gliding slowly between abandoned cars toward us. Dozens of them, silent. The entire underground level smelled rotten. Wet concrete mixed with something dead. We ran blindly through endless rows of abandoned vehicles. Then I noticed something horrifying. Some cars still had people inside them. Skeletons, still sitting behind the wheel, still wearing seatbelts. My chest tightened violently. Then I saw one license plate, Washington plate, the exact same number as MY car upstairs. I stopped breathing. No. The vehicle looked identical to mine. Same scratches, same bumper sticker, except inside, a skeleton sat slumped behind the steering wheel, still holding a dead phone. The screen suddenly lit up. Incoming call. Unknown number. The woman screamed behind me. Ava, move. The figures were close now. Too close. Their faces twitching unnaturally as they approached. And among them, I saw the hooded man again, standing perfectly still, smiling. My phone suddenly rang in my pocket. Unknown caller. I answered without thinking. Static filled the line. Then a calm male voice whispered, "You were never supposed to park here tonight." The lights overhead started shutting off one by one toward us. Darkness swallowing the garage aisle by aisle. The voice continued, "He chose you the second you looked back." I backed away slowly. "What are you?" Soft laughter answered me. Then, "We're the reason people stopped checking the shadows." The line disconnected. And right then, the woman beside me grabbed a rust emergency lever hanging from a nearby pillar and pulled it hard. Massive alarms exploded through the underground level. Red emergency strobes flashed everywhere. The figures suddenly froze. All of them. The hooded man's smile disappeared instantly. Then the woman screamed, "Now!" A steel security gate nearby slowly started opening upward. Cold night air poured through the gap. Real air, real rain. We sprinted toward it as the figures behind us started screaming. Not human screams. Dozens of distorted voices layered together. I dove beneath the gate beside the woman, just before it slammed shut behind us. And suddenly, we were back on level 1. Normal parking garage. Normal lights. Normal cars. The woman collapsed against a pillar, breathing hard. I stared around in shock. No, that wasn't real. But then I looked down. Mud covered my shoes. Dark red mud. And mixed into it were dozens of footprints around us, all facing the wrong direction. Police searched the garage later that night. They found no underground level, no hidden floors, nothing. But one officer quietly pulled me aside before I left and asked me something I'll never forget. When the man smiled at you, his face looked different every time you blinked, didn't it? I never parked there again. The garage closed permanently 4 months later after another disappearance. But sometimes late at night, when I'm driving alone, I still see headlights following me in empty parking lots. And every once in a while, I'll glance in the rearview mirror and see someone sitting in my back seat, smiling quietly from the darkness. Warning before you leave tonight. Check the shadows behind you one last time, because not every parking garage is empty. Some things wait quietly between the concrete pillars, watching, listening, waiting for the one person who notices them. And if you ever hear footsteps matching yours in the dark, don't stop walking. If the story made your heart race, hit like so more horror lovers can find it. Comment the scariest part for you eyes. And subscribe before the shadows notice you too. Because the next strange sound you hear at night might not be coming from outside your car. Flashlights see you in the next nightmare.